Welcome to Season 10, Episode 4 of the Gateway Geeks Podcast. This time it's David Bowie, Susan Sarandon, and Tim Curry in the Hunger and Rocky Horror Picture Show. We start off on lesbian vampires and end up somehow talking about Christmas movies, so let's just say that our subject matter this time is pretty comprehensive. Now I'll kick it over to your hosts, Gateway Geeks crew, Sarah, Tracy, Chris, Aaron, and Joe.
Everybody see it?
Yeah, I see it. I'm gonna.
You know, Chris, it's interesting. Mizzou doesn't ask you; it just tells you.
Oh wow!
It's just like there's a voice that says you are now being recorded.
You're in the Panopticon Now, baby.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Well, welcome to Season 4, Episode 10 of the Gateway Geeks Podcast. We are here this time talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show and The Hunger, which is one of David Bowie's most important films. I'm Joe, and this is Chris, who will say his name.
Hey, I'm Chris. Aaron, introduce yourself.
I'm Aaron, and this is Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. This is Tracy.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Tracy. Back to you, Joe.
Nice. Well done. That's getting smoother every time. So
10 years of podcasting, and Joe is figuring out introduction.
Well, I will say in person, it's a lot easier because you could do those like nonverbal cues, but you shouldn't lose those. So like I said, this time we're talking about two
Susan Sarandon movies.
Susan Sarandon movies. Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to call them Halloween movies because they're really not. I mean,
welcome to the Susan Sarandon's Boobcast.
Oh my God, we were watching we were watching Rocky Horror last night with a couple of friends, and Catherine kept complaining about Susan Sarandon's boobs.
Why?
Just, like as in, this is not fair kind of complaining. It was very loud and part of the whole experience for the children down the street. So, you know.
Were you projecting tits onto your garage again?
Yeah. We were projecting giant okay, we'll get into this later. Let's start actually talking.
Do we want to record this part that might be like submitted as evidence at some point?
Yeah, let's not do that. So we should just get into the movies, because all this other stuff, like I kind of wanted to talk about Flygate a little bit, but I don't know what to say that has not already been said on Twitter 100 times. Yeah.
The
Tracy,
least offensive thing Mike Pence has ever done is have a fly land on him.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's people keep wanting to see like the signs of the apocalypse played out in some melodrama, and it's like
the sign of the apocalypse is when the American people hear a sitting vice president go, "I will not submit to a peaceful transfer of power," and all they can do is go, "Fly. There's a fly." Yeah. There's a fly.
This is why we have fiction, so we can look. It's like when, oh my God, I'm going to forget if it's Perseus or Theseus. It's like when you're fighting Medusa or whatever, and you can't look at her reflection, so you have to look at her, or you can't look at her directly, so you have to look at her reflection in the shield. That's
Perseus.
Totally like what fiction. Perseus, thank you. That's right. Yes, Perseus.
Isn't Theseus the guy with the girlfriend he couldn't look at?
No, that was
the other Greek
Orpheus.
Dude. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes, Orpheus is right. No, Theseus was the one who was like one of the kings of Athens, but he was also a hero.
Was he
He had a ship.
He had the ship that he kept replacing parts on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
welcome to Greek Cast.
Greek Cast.
I mean, last week was Beowulf. Let's just hit every culture's myth.
We got to get the classics in there so I can make all the English comp people at Jeffco force their students to listen to our podcast.
Oh God.
No, I won't do that. Don't worry.
Please don't have children listen to this podcast. I know they're not children, but
oh my God. So we watched The Hunger and Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think maybe we talk about The Hunger first.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So
Sarah, tell me why it doesn't suck.
No, Chris. No, Chris. The onus is on you, sir, to explain why it does suck.
Okay. One, I was promised a sexy vampire love triangle.
Yeah, the sexy vampire love triangle that we were all promised really was not delivered in
For it
this
to be
film.
a triangle requires 3 points in an orientation where they are aware of each other's existence.
Yeah.
If one point dies before the other point enters, it's a line.
Yeah.
It's a linear progression. She's a serial monogamist.
Well, no, but at the very beginning, isn't there? I mean, it's not a love triangle; it's a threesome. Like, let's be honest. At the very beginning,
No, she fucking dies, or he dies, and then she.
No. At the very beginning, it's David Bowie and the vampire lady, and like those two random people that they
Rubbing someone's
kill.
dick right before you kill them does not make a love triangle.
I'm saying that's why I'm saying it's a threesome.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not,
not
a
even
love
a threesome. There's 4 people, Joe.
I think foursome, I don't like that because I've had that happen like when you go out to eat and someone's like, oh, look, it's a foursome. It's 4 people. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that comparison.
Look, also,
I think if there's 4 people, you can officially label that as group sex. I think that's fine,
Yeah.
linguistically speaking.
like this. Have you ever this is a movie about like ostensibly French, supposedly Egyptian, but like we can get into that weird racism.
White Egyptian people, yes,
Yeah.
very common.
Like it's about a monogamist vampire.
Yeah.
Like the most boring possible way to do sexy vampires.
Who is literally a serial monogamist who puts her old partners in the attic
Yeah.
and just leaves them there in a state of partial decay for
Yep.
eternity. Yeah. So
Right, and then they can't get up and they can't do anything until they can for reasons.
Yeah.
for some reason. So okay, we know Chris's opinion. Who wants to go next? I'll say I appreciated the plot of this movie totally just like diced up and like putting that aside, stylistically, you can tell where so much like goth culture comes from. Like you can tell
for
there's
sure.
so much of that. And then also I have to say, like, in general, the cinematography I liked. Susan Sarandon did have like her Susan Sarandon lesbian sex scene that was, I don't know. I mean, it seemed pretty tame. Like,
Yeah, it was weirdly boring.
It was. Yeah, and so my question is, I recognize the name of the actress who played the vampire, but is she like, what is she famous for?
DeNeuve?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is she famous for? Like, what is she in?
An insanely famous French actress.
But I'm trying to think. I'm gonna look her up.
A lot
No
of
one
things
knows
you
what
haven't
movie
seen.
she's in.
You know those movies that I talk about that literally no one has seen and everyone rolls their eyes? She's in a lot of those.
Yeah,
She's mostly famous for being Catherine Deneuve at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
I gotcha.
Well,
I don't
while they're looking
recognize
this up, one of the things I appreciate about this film, and Joe, you started to touch on it, is a huge artifact in the early 80s Vampire the Masquerade LARP community with that's where a lot of its cult status erupted with. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the Bela Lugosi's "Dead" song at places like there was a nightclub in Chicago called the Raven. That was a goth techno nightclub, and pretty much every weekend there was people who were actually there to be at a club, and there was also the "Oh good God, the LARPers are back."
Get the broom.
Yes.
And this movie is so very much the aesthetic of White Wolf's the Vampire LARP, in that it is 100% pretentious style over substance. It's pretty. It's very pretty.
Yeah, it's a movie about toreadors, who are the most boring fucking part of Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
Well, and
I'm gonna
that's what I was
pose
thinking.
with this cigarette while you do my bidding.
Yeah, I mean they're all like Oscar Wilde basically, but that's it's
You
interesting.
take that fucking back. Oscar
The
Wilde
interest-
as a vampire would be a much more interesting movie.
I would watch that movie
Yeah.
for
Someone
sure.
make that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Someone probably has made that movie or attempted to. But even the angst that
Now, did anyone recognize the person? There's a well-known actor who interrupted Susan Sarandon during her phone
Oh
call.
yeah, I
William
have a
Dafoe.
note.
Yes,
I actually took notes during this one, and I do have a note that just is Willem Dafoe in all caps.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were watching that, and I was like, "Was that fucking William Dafoe?"
Yes.
And Tracy's like, "No, it wasn't." And then we're watching. When you watch the credits, they're like, "Hey, I guess it was."
Yep.
Very
Yeah.
random.
Yeah.
Also, Dan Hedaya as the detective.
Yes. Yeah,
Well,
that was kind of.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think was William Dafoe that well known, like pre?
I guess not.
Well, I mean, that was right at the same time as like Streets of Fire.
Yeah, this was an early Dafoe.
Yeah, I mean, which by the Streets of Fire, which by the way is highly underrated garbage. It's
You're not wrong.
yeah.
Right. The last thing I will say about this movie that you have to also think about is if you think about the spoilers at the end where all of the old boyfriends and girlfriends or whatever come back and they what do they like push her down the stairs?
Yeah.
I'm trying to
I
remember.
guess it's not
exploit
really
the
clear
one-
what happens.
They exploit the one weakness of all immortal vampires: stairs.
Yeah.
I know
Tumble
it's
down
like
the stairs, nothing can save you.
Yeah.
Originally, that was going to be the end. She was going to decompose, and there was going to be the police guy talking with the realtor. But the studio was like, "Oh no! We want this is a vampire movie. We want sequels, so we're going to tack on this."
What was that? Is she a vampire now? Are those
I
other
guess.
bitches
Yeah.
her like minions? What the fuck is happening?
and in killing them, did
she
they
killed
all come back
herself
to
to
life?
not be a vampire, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I guess you're a vampire.
The other
Try to
thing
kill yourself, kill the other vampire.
No,
What are the
but
fucking rules?
They're vampires, Chris. There are no rules. But okay, wait. Let me finish my thought, and then we'll move on. Let me finish.
All right.
Okay, because I got to get this out. So, when you're watching that part of the movie, if you think about the practical effects required for that at the
Mhm.
time, that's actually pretty impressive. You're comparing that to like Evil Dead. Like, just think about the difference there. I
Yeah.
mean, those were like some beautiful
The makeup was very.
desiccated
Yeah.
corpses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
It-
loved to have seen them not shot through cheesecloth and clouds of cigarette smoke at all times.
That was
and blinds. There were so
Yes.
many blinds.
I'll tell you, it looked like a Skinamax movie. Like it looked like a late '90s like Skinamax like saxophone music playing in the background. while the latest
Red
sex
Shoe
happens.
Diaries. Yes,
Yeah.
it did. Yeah. So what about the rest? What about everybody else? What did you all think? What was your impression? I mean, Aaron, you recommended it, so I don't know.
Okay, so in the group chat, there was a request for lesbian vampire movies, and and the two movies that came to my mind from what I'm familiar with is The Hunger and the Hammer horror films, The Vampire Lovers, which maybe you guys might enjoy that.
Look, man,
I mean, it's a
expand
little-
beyond America because the Italians churn out lesbian vampire movies like they're pizzas.
It's true.
There's
Yeah.
nothing they love more than like lesbians acting performatively lesbian-y on screen for men.
I think most of them are on Tubi, honestly. Tubi has a very wide selection of like weird Italian horror movies.
Unsurprisingly, I mean, come on.
Yep.
Good to know. Good to
Oh
know.
man, I am an absolute horror movie heaven this October because like Kaiju TV is showing all kinds of weird stuff like Joe, what's the name of the spirits?
Oh, the yokai.
Last weekend there was a whole yokai movie marathon, which folks, you can Google it. It's bizarre.
It's ghosts. It's
Yeah.
creepy fucking ghosts that turn
Sometimes
into
they live in
hentai
a watch.
monsters later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and also like anthropomorphized objects and
Yeah. Yeah, there's a very like rich history of that just in Japanese art that's kind of worth looking into if you just want to have some nightmare fuel.
Yeah, no, I don't mean to get us completely derailed, but I mean,
What about Tracy and Sarah? What did you all think of the movie?
I was into it. Like, it's not the best movie I've ever seen, but like I liked it more than Chris, clearly, because I mean Chris hated it with the fire of 1,000 suns, so that's not
I would like
difficult.
If there's one thing nice thing to say about this movie is that I watched it on Amazon with their player, and it has that fast forward 10-second button. And I watched the entire movie in about 59 minutes, which really improved some of the viewing experience.
Let me refer to my notes. I do have a note that just says that Catherine Deneuve is that one tweet that was going around that says a morally gray character is someone who commits crimes but is hot.
Fair.
Yes.
I think this movie is secretly about performative heterosexuality.
I see it.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, there's one sex scene, it's like actual sex scene. It's between two women. Like, every time that, like, some heterosexual sex is implied to be about to happen or, like, have happened, it's, like, murder.
Right.
So,
all the penetration is done by knives, yes.
Yes.
By tiny, weird little onks that we don't really know the rules for. We're just kind of like...
I guess...
It's the size of like a nail clipper.
Yeah.
And they're doing lethal damage.
They don't. I mean, they're going for the neck generally.
Yeah.
So,
right,
like,
but remember when we get to watch...
Presumably they're like they're like hitting something important. And like, it's not 100% foolproof because like, David Bowie like attacked that rollerblader, you know, another gay thing.
We got to watch David Bowie attempt to kill randos for 10 minutes.
Did he not successfully kill that violin playing child?
Oh, no,
he did.
Okay, but then did he not? What's the premise that David Bowie didn't know how to like drink blood?
Or it
Catherine,
didn't work.
Yeah, he was just
it just didn't work for him.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. He was trying to make himself younger again, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
He should have just been like, "Oh, I'm David Bowie. I never age." End of movie.
Look, haven't we all had that day where you're feeling really old and you just want to kill a young person? Or is that just those of us that work in education?
I mean, listen, I work in a grocery store. I work with actual teenagers all day, and honestly, they're all a fucking delight.
Tracy ethically can't answer that question on a recorded medium.
That's true.
As usual, she's the wisest of us.
But one thing that I thought was interesting after the fact was I found out that Brian Fuller, the showrunner for Hannibal, was The Hunger was actually one of the huge inspirations for how he wanted to do Hannibal.
Oh,
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, that's my thing about it was. So I think the reason I liked it is because I've been subjected to an ungodly number of terrible student-made art films, like where they make everybody go and sit for like 3 hours and watch like maybe 2 if we're lucky, but usually just one that took 3 hours, where it's like a slow shot of, I don't know, like a fan, like an oscillating fan just doing this for like 15 minutes. So like I could appreciate just some like the composition of the scenes and things like that. I thought that was cool. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I'm glad I saw it. I don't know if I would like watch it 100 times, but
my problem is I watch a lot of like 70s French films because I'm that asshole. This movie is like an 80s American attempt at making a 70s French erotic thriller. Like, there should not be any Americans in this movie. It should not be set in New York. For some reason, the subplot of Outbreak is just sort of grafted onto this movie that sort of loosely thematically has to do with aging and seems mostly to be like, oh, our plot's not long enough. Let's show some monkeys like murder fucking in the beginning and then explain it for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where the rest of you are coming from. I was like, it was one of those movies where I get to the end and I'm just like, do I even like movies?
Tracy, what did you think? What was your impression? Because I feel like you may have been somewhere in the middle, just watching your face.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely in the middle, hearing what everyone said. Like, there was a lot I liked about it. There was a lot that I felt like did not come to fruition with it. Like I could see like the hope and the idea behind a lot of scenes, and then just didn't come through the way. And so I feel like I can relate to that, like just as like a human, like who's flawed, who's just like had great ideas before and seen them just like fall apart in front of my eyes, like never be fully realized. So I felt that a little bit with this movie, where I was like,
damn, Tracy, that sounded real personal. I don't know how I should take that.
what do you mean? Okay. But no, I thought it was okay. I thought that the Susan Sarandon character, I thought that it was like a big miss with like the interaction early on with her and Bowie. I really wanted to see more of that, like in that being developed and them having more of like a dialogue and a back and forth and maybe trying to find the cure together. Like I felt really sad when that didn't happen, and it was just
you
like,
wanted there to be a plot?
Yeah.
It is weird how, like, it's both weird and very funny how David Bowie is just, like, not important to this movie at all.
No, stop.
Yes, which, like, shocked me. Like, that was a shocking thing to me because it's David Bowie. So.
Yeah, and that was the weird thing. If you had asked me before I saw The Hunger, which of these two movies I thought was going to be sexier, I definitely would have said The Hunger, but it wasn't.
No.
It really wasn't at all.
I'm really
it's kind of cold.
It is.
Also, we'll get there, but I take deep issue with you not thinking that Rocky Horror Picture Show is the font from which all modern sexuality flows.
Okay, the movie had David Bowie, and I rest my case. That's why I thought it was just
that should have been sexy. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Not
at all.
You have David fucking Bowie in your movie, and what do you do with him? You make him old as shit.
you make him a cranky old guy who then murders a child.
You have one aborted sex scene. Then you make him old as shit and show him try to murder people and then stab a child.
Yeah.
Show him angrily waiting in a office or waiting room for like 5 hours. That's kind of missed opportunity.
Yeah, the whole scene was just like a metaphor for waiting in a doctor's office, but like it is the weirdest use of David Bowie. And part of you wants to be like, oh, maybe they just didn't have him that much, but that's some intense makeup work. Like, he spent minimum a week filming the waiting room scene, right? So, no, they had David Bowie. They just decided to use him like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and some of those scenes had like I know I always bring, like, when I'm describing a scene, I'll talk about Terry Gilliam a lot, but some of those had like that Brazil waiting room thing going on too, like especially when it shifted into like blue spectrum and you had just kind of like that filter on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really trying to compare this to Brazil?
Visually, Chris, visually.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna push back on this. On comparing this to Brazil.
I'm gonna find an image to show you. Continue.
Because I don't think you were impressed enough by Jupiter Ascending and its clear allegories to Brazil and that modern masterpiece. But no, you're like, oh, this shitty vampire movie. Definitely takes inspiration from Brazil. Oh,
point of order. You and I have definitely watched shittier vampire movies than this.
Have we?
I mean,
I mean, have you watched the subspecies franchise with Bloodstone?
I have not.
No.
See,
Species, which is a better erotic thriller than The Hunger. And
The Hunger was
a terrible movie.
Yeah. So does anybody have any parting shots at this in Chris's case, or parting thoughts?
Let me refer to my notes.
Okay,
I actually took notes, so I'm like referring to them.
I'm not judging. I'm not, because Lord knows I've judged movies for similar reasons. But how much of this movie did you like because DeNeuve?
Yeah. No, listen, I'm very gay. Like, we don't need to dwell on it. I'm very fine with that being the reason.
Look, I have many a movie that I like only because, there's a very, very attractive looking French woman that.
Yeah,
Who
I mean,
among us doesn't want to get topped by Catherine Deneuve? Let's move on to my notes. I do have a note that just says Tony Scott borrowed some doves from John Woo.
those doves were pissing me the fuck off in that scene. I was like, God damn it, someone just killed the doves. I can't. What kind of shitty vampires are you? But yeah,
I think vampires in this movie are maybe just a metaphor for rich people.
Totally.
They're corridors. They're the most boring vampires.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I did like about the sex scene was that, like, in the lead up to it, like, I really expected it to be like a kind of like gross, like classic, like, straight girl gets seduced by a lesbian. But like Susan Sarandon was DTF. And like I don't think that was in the script. I think that was a Susan Sarandon original.
In the original script, she's drunk in that scene, and Sarandon was like, no, she chooses everything.
Right.
She just wants to feel dirty.
God damn it. Yeah.
So that's a perfect cutaway to our next movie.
Yes. So let me start with this question.
Let's talk about one of the best movies ever made now.
How old were each of you the first time you saw Rocky Horror?
Oh.
I don't know that I should answer this question.
Chris was like 4.
What is the statute of limitations for DCFS taking you away from your parents?
I think I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in middle school.
Yeah, I was about 15 or 16.
That's not that bad.
I was definitely like 9 or 10. So.
But Tracy's dad would like let her watch. What did he let you watch? Like Reservoir Dogs or something?
Yeah, that was our favorite movie.
So
I forget what year it was, but it was. I saw it at the Varsity, which once upon a time in the Del Mar Loop there were 2 movie theaters. There was the Varsity and the Tivoli, and the Varsity was an absolute dive, concrete floors and like ballpark metal chair seating, which worked perfectly for a theater that would show Rocky Horror every weekend, because they just had to literally hose down the seats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So has everybody been to one of the weird like the midnight showings?
I have not been to a Shadowcast performance.
Me neither.
Oh, I've never been to a Shadowcast. Like I've been to a live one, but I've never been to a Shadowcast.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to do that if they ever bring it back to one of the theaters to say. So
if we can ever all gather in public again.
Yeah.
So like the first time I went to one of those I was in Cincinnati. A bunch of like, I probably have told you all this story offline, but some super some friends of mine who were super into Rocky Horror, and they went like every month. They played it once like on a Friday night at midnight. And the first time you go, if you tell the people running it that you have never been to that show before, they take red lipstick and put a big V on your forehead for virgin.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
make you stand in the front and like do the fucking time warp and all this shit. And like dancing is already my nightmare. Dancing in front of a bunch of drunk strangers at midnight in fucking Ohio. I dissociated. It was fucking terrible. But when you go to those things, and Aaron's probably been to more than I have, but there's so many weird little like rituals for different parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's the one scene, Aaron, what's the scene where people throw spoons?
The spoons I don't recall. I mean,
Is there a spoon one? I don't think there's a spoon one.
Yeah,
When I went there,
There's toast for when they propose a toast. You throw right to the wedding scene.
There's toilet paper.
Right.
There's toilet paper when somebody says "Great Scott." Because Scott's toilet paper. Let's see what else.
There's a bunch of weird things, and so like I can imagine why you'd want to have that at a dive, because at the end you have to like sweep all that shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I told the story like recently on the podcast, but like we always used to do the midnight movies that Ronnie's comic shop would sponsor at the theater in Fairview here. And we used to constantly like, oh, do Rocky Horror. And finally the manager of the theater had to come in and be like, guys, we've heard your requests. Our insurance policy specifically forbids us from doing midnight shows of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah.
I get it.
Like, in Cincinnati, they had like a group. It was like a specific group that came in and did it. It wasn't even like the theater just washed their hands of it and they're like, okay, someone else is responsible for this.
Yeah.
Have fun, guys. So how many times have you seen it in person, Aaron? Or in a theater?
Maybe
I only did that
4.
once.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
I've never seen it in a theater. I've seen it at home like 400,000 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth it. Just don't tell them it's your first time. That's the lesson.
Yeah.
Just don't.
I
do
have
it.
one functioning hip. Yeah. That jump to the left will be my last jump ever.
Oh man. So we were
like,
talking
you want to talk about musicals, you want to talk about pure joy, you want to talk about something that's just absolute rolling ball of chaos made of happiness.
Yeah.
This is my happy place. And also just the fact that like every time I watch this movie I am again reminded that like the spectrum of people I find incredibly beyond cognition attractive. It's just like Columbia and magenta, and then everything in between. It's like, oh right, this explains a lot of me.
So I was
Where
looking
does your Joan of Arc thing fit into that spectrum?
I mean,
that's
Can we talk about that?
What's right between Columbia and magenta?
That's on the Columbia.
Is that the exact center point between Columbia and magenta? Is Joan of Arc? Is that what you're saying?
Sarah, I think it's
wide-eyed innocent who was also an extraterrestrial warrior.
Okay.
Sarah, I think the spectrum is more accurately magenta to Joan of Arc, and Columbia is somewhere in the middle, if we're being honest.
I think that's better, yeah.
Yeah. I actually
this whole podcast is just about nailing down the exact.
Everyone's exact. Well,
no, just me. Apparently,
just Chris.
Sarah, we've already just labeled at domineering French women.
Yeah.
Which also same, so I can't.
Yeah.
Again, Joan of Arc.
Oh. Am I also within the Venn diagram of your Joan of Arc thing? Shit. I don't know that I want to go down this rabbit hole.
We'll just leave. When I close caption this, I'm going to put brackets awkward silence at the end of that. But no, you guys, I looked up Columbia, or I forget what her name's, Little Nell. That's what she goes by. And she's just like some club owner who also sings and dances. Mm-hmm. So I wonder, I mean, I know that Tim Curry was part of like the musical before it became a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were all of them? Were they all? Did they just take? I mean, I know Meatloaf and Susan Sarandon were not, but I'm wondering about some of the other people.
No, like Barry Bostwick and those guys, they just did casting calls.
Yeah.
Because I think famously wasn't Steve Martin trying to get the Brad role?
Honestly, that makes sense.
It makes sense. I'm glad he didn't get it.
Yeah.
He's too winky. Like
he is.
That's true. Yeah, Barry Bostwick is much better at playing it straight.
There's no self-awareness beyond the there's no winky. There's no one is smarter than the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
In the most beautiful possible way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Chris, you may have been the one who said it, but that's so it makes it so good is everyone is just 100% in.
Just there, man.
Like even when you listen, and it's interesting because I was listening to the soundtrack, and it becomes very apparent when you listen that really Tim Curry is like the one who has the most legitimate chops musically, but the rest of it, like when it's woven into a performance, you don't care. Like you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
Like it's God, do I want to go down this route of being me? The cast recording is not the one they use in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are different performances, and what's the guy who plays Riff Raff?
Richard O'Brien.
Yeah, he's also the writer.
Mm-hmm.
Like his performances are like wildly different between the two, and there's different emphasis. But Tim Curry is almost identical between them. Like he has just got that shit dialed the fuck in.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Yeah, and you can actually definitely see him doing the Rolling Stones thing a little bit too. Like you can see like the Mick Jagger strutting, but I mean he is clearly studied for this role. I wonder how long he performed it on stage before they made it into a movie. Clearly a while.
I don't know. It was a while. Although,
yeah, I mean,
was it? I don't know how long this actually ran. Like as a stage show.
Imagine for 1 second of your life having the confidence that he needed for every second on camera in this movie.
Yes.
If you could bottle that, oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, like for those of you watching the video podcast, just imagine making this face into a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like that takes a degree of self-confidence I will never know personally.
I mean, yeah, it's I don't even know if I can talk coherently about this movie. I love every goddamn literally last night it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm tired. I'm like, I need to at least start this. I'm gonna watch the first half.
Mm-hmm.
At 1 a.m. I am singing along with I'm Going Home with like a tear in the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
This is my happy place.
So because sometimes we like to watch bad movies, are any of us at the least bit interested in watching the sequel?
Ooh.
No.
No. All right.
Chris doesn't want to ruin it. He likes to pretend it doesn't exist.
just throwing it out.
I don't know. I love bad movies, but I'm less interested now, like as I get older, in like bad movies as endurance tests, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that used to be fun when in my youth, but like now I'm like, eh.
Well, also we kind of burned ourselves.
We did. No, Chris and I
we dug
did
into
Ironman triathlons of that, and so now we're like, we're good.
We recreated the Jurassic Park crawling into the pile of dinosaur shit for like 2 straight years of just intentionally watching. For God fucking.
You and I actually lived out Mystery Science Theater 3000, but with fewer puppets.
Yeah, we watched The Passion of Ayn Rand.
Yeah, we didn't even do that for the show. We just did that.
Yeah.
That's just a thing we subjected ourselves to.
And
that's just part of a pattern of
time,
self-destructive behavior.
Real quick, of all the things we ever watched for recording, on the count of 3, we'll say it at the same time. What's the worst movie we ever saw?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what it is.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Yeah. No, it's the worst.
It is. That is the only one that we had to stop recording so we could begin drinking and then finish watching the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so drunk in that episode.
I am so upset that the so-called Snyder Cut is going to be a thing. I am.
Oh,
Who cares?
Justice League was good.
I enjoyed it.
Like not good, but it was like better than all the other ones.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was fun because it's a mess.
But I mean, this is going to empower. It's going to empower trolls to a level heretofore unseen. And so,
I mean, yeah, but they already got one of their own elected president. How much worse can it get?
Okay. Now I need to like throw salt over my shoulder and run around the theater 3 times.
His blood is the cure, Chris. His blood is the cure.
Is this like that parable about the child? Like, we need all of it. They have to go to Mike Pence, and it's like, we didn't expect him to be so old. We need all of the blood.
Oh
my God. So, Tracy, what did you think of Rocky Horror? You didn't say anything yet, so I'm calling on you.
Okay, I didn't realize this is class, but thank you for calling on me.
Sorry. Force of habit.
I have not seen it for a long time, so it was a nice revisit. I think that one of the biggest things I noticed is that I don't think I've ever really paid attention to what's actually going on in the movie. It's just like, ooh, flashy dancing, singing, like pretty things, pretty people. Like, I think that I've never really paid attention to like what's going on like a deeper level within the movie. And I think that that's okay because I still have always really enjoyed the movie. But I feel like last night, like at the end scene, like I was like, what? And I felt like I had never even seen that scene before, but I've definitely watched the movie like dozens of times in my youth. So like, I don't know if it was just like that part just got like blanked out by like sequins, So
Yeah, and I think that's one of those movies that if I think about how many times I've seen that movie, like not at a party or without people over or not drink, like I've seen that movie sober maybe 2 or 3 times. Most of the time it's like on at somebody's house or it's on, Tracy, what was it that Dan said about it yesterday? I'm trying to remember. It was actually kind of interesting because one of our friends was saying something about like how there are a bunch of parts in that movie that reference other horror movies, because we were talking about like why we're trying to find movies for the podcast that are not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I was telling him like I fucking hate Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but there were like some references in this movie, like when they eat meat, for example.
Joe, no. The entire movie is made of references.
Yeah.
It is a Frankenstein's monster of a love letter to classic horror and science fiction films from mostly the 40s, 30s.
Right. Yeah.
Like Vincent Price was supposed to be the narrator.
He wasn't supposed to be the criminologist, because that would have been amazing.
Or the criminologist. Yeah, that was supposed to be Vincent Price.
Yeah.
And Price was like interested, and I don't actually know the story of why it didn't happen.
Probably because.
Has anybody ever heard the Terry Gross interview with Tim Curry?
No.
Where he talks about meeting Princess Diana, who flat out told him that Rocky Horror Picture Show, quote, definitely rounded out my education.
Oh man, do you all know what happened to Tim Curry recently? Like, he had a stroke.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's awesome though, because he's doing it's not the thing recently where you like, it's not Cameo, but he like, people can pay him a certain amount of money for charity, and he'll just like show up and talk to them about their shitty band or whatever. Like, there are all these things on YouTube. There's like some goth girl who's like roughly our, somewhere amongst our ages, and she like holds up a picture of her band, and he's like, "That's great, sweetie." There's so many of those.
That's adorable.
He has been in some glorious films and some god awful things. Like, I mean, glorious things like, say, Clue, and then god awful things like one of the seasons of the show Wise Guy. He was the bad guy of the season.
And he was in Muppet Treasure Island, which is one of my favorite Tim Curry appearances.
That is a very good Tim Curry.
Yeah.
The two best bad Tim Curry performances ever both involve him doing a terrible Russian accent. One
Red
is
Alert.
Oh, Command and Conquer.
Red Alert, yes,
Yeah.
where he's playing the Russian premier.
Yeah.
Where when there's that great scene at the end where he's like, "I will spread communism to the last frontier, space."
Yeah.
The other, where he is legitimately doing that exact same accent, is the major motion picture Congo.
Oh, that's right.
Where
Oh
he's
my
playing
God.
the arms dealer, and his accent is so bad that I thought it was a plot point. So, like, at some point he was going to be exposed as not actually being Russian. No. And if any of you haven't seen Congo, go watch Congo, because the first 80% of that movie, like 75% of that movie, comes almost straight out of the Michael Crichton book.
Yeah.
With the one weird exception of they give the gorilla like a Nintendo Power Glove that lets it talk. That was not in the book. The book's incredibly boring. Don't read the book. It's so
Yes, the
boring.
book is boring.
Then at the end of the movie, when they start mass murdering gorillas, the whole
When
time
they fall into the volcano too, that's amazing.
right. Then all of a sudden, Jodie Foster, was it Jodie Foster?
No, it was not Julianne. Laura Linney. It was Laura Linney.
Was it? Anyway.
It was Laura Linney. Yeah.
It has not been established anywhere leading up to this point that diamonds make laser guns. They talk about laser communication. She pulls a goddamn laser gun out of her backpack, just throws like a rough diamond in the top, like it's ammunition, and then she starts just cutting monkeys in half for like 20 straight minutes.
Yep.
And then at the end, the way she quits her job is she shoots a satellite in space with her backpack laser.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Congo. That is an amazing, terrible movie.
Chris, I hate Congo for the exact reasons you just expressed.
Honest to God, if The Hunger had ended with her showing up from the lab with like a monkey-powered laser and killing all the vampires, it would have been a much better movie. Yeah. I used my monkey knowledge to build a vampire laser.
Well, you're right. Like the problem with The Hunger, that was one of the problems. Is like you didn't know the rules for being a vampire.
Yeah.
And there was no like context. I mean, to me, it kind of almost seemed like some sort of hackneyed Anne Rice attempt or something, because there were like those. Like I thought it was
like they were embarrassed to be writing vampire fiction.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, well, we have to give
like
them
my
knives.
least favorite flavor of vampire fiction, if I'm being honest. Like, just own that they're vampires. You're a nerd writing about fucking vampires.
Yeah, it's
fine.
Now, speaking of where the story comes from, do you know who wrote the original book that the movie is based on?
I
Whitley
don't.
Strieber. Whitley Strieber, Mr. I've been abducted by aliens.
What?
Whitley Strieber.
Oh my God! This is please explain, Aaron.
All right. So, Whitley Strieber is a New York Times bestselling author who has written numerous books on or related to alien abductions, in particular his alien abduction, and he wrote this book before that one, and there is some overlap of just weird things of being taken against your will and so on.
Is she an alien? Because that would make a lot more sense than just being vaguely Egyptian.
That would tell us why there's a white Egyptian person. Yes,
Yeah.
Good point.
I was just there building the pyramids, as you do, when I figured out that humans are super tasty, yo.
Oh, I have to say, there is a whole genre of like bullshit conspiracy theory about how aliens built the pyramid. So like that stuff's already there.
Aware.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the greatest motion picture of the mid-90s, Stargate?
Yes.
I mean, that's like
The best Kurt Russell movie? Yeah.
There's no bad Kurt Russell movies. I will stand by that statement.
Oh man.
Honest to God, like Kurt Russell, I watched Sexy Santa Claus. Kurt Russell, I've watched. That was that last year or the year before? Yeah, no, like Kurt Russell makes Santa Claus daddy. I'm just throwing it out there.
Speaking of Santa Claus movies, I've seen the trailer for quite possibly
the Mel Gibson one.
Yes, there's a new Mel Gibson movie coming out called Fat Man, where he plays a gun-toting Rambo. Basically, if Santa Claus was Rambo, and
it might be fun if they had cast literally anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically a Montana Max Richie Rich kid gets coal in his stockings and hires one of the recurring characters from
Walton fucking Goggins.
Yes. Yeah,
oh really?
Yes.
To kill.
No idea who that is.
You know him. Did you ever watch Justified?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or see the movie Lincoln?
Yeah, he's the sidekick in Justified.
Oh yeah, he's the dude with the 5 head. Yes, I know him.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Again, God, I can think of 1,000 people they could have cast in that, and instead you're gonna get fucking Mel Gibson, who just instantly like, okay, I don't need to see this.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and we already had an anti-Semitic Santa Claus. It was called Bad Santa, and it was also terrible. So, like, I don't think we.
I can't say I've seen Bad Santa.
I've seen.
Bad Santa's the Billy Bob Thornton one, where he's like a mall Santa in Phoenix.
I'm familiar with it. Billy Bob Thornton is another one of those guys that, like, if he's, I'm not going to say I'm not going to watch a movie because he's in it, but he's not going to make me want to see a movie either.
Tracy, do you like Bad Santa? Is that what you were going to say?
I'm just surprised you haven't seen it. I just think it's like an important Christmas film because it's like on the other side of Christmas movies. Like I really like Christmas movies, so like I feel like Bad Santa has its place amongst them all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think Christmas movies are like, honest to God, I legitimately think Hallmark makes better Christmas movies than like Hollywood does.
Yeah,
because like Hollywood movies, they're too fucking cute about it. Like they're always trying to find like no, it's just sentimental as shit. That's how you make a Christmas movie. You don't have to get weird with it.
Yeah. Well, there's the one that you really, Tracy, what's the one you really like that it's got like 1 million super famous people in it? What the fuck is that? You watch it every Christmas.
Love Actually?
Love Actually.
Yes.
Thank you.
Love Actually.
Yes. That may be an exception. I liked that movie like the first 5 times Tracy made me watch it, but I can't. I'm done with Love Actually.
Here's my thing about Love Actually. It's fine.
Yeah.
I really don't understand people with like incredibly strong religious opinions about it one way or the other. Like, it doesn't feel that polarizing when you watch it. It's just sort of like pleasant.
It's certainly just a pleasant the best watch of that type of movie.
Yeah.
Like nobody else has quite been able to like capture that magic again.
What are you talking about? New York, I Love You, one of the greatest films ever made with Hayden Christensen. Now, a fifth of that movie hangs on the fact that you find Hayden Christensen attractive and charming. Which, okay, here I get to be that guy, which is, New York, I Love You is a terrible attempt to adapt Paris, Je t'aime. My French sucks.
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime, thank you. Which is a good movie, and you should watch. And New York, I Love You has Hayden Christensen in it.
I don't know who Hayden Christensen is. Who is that a boy or a girl?
It's the guy who plays
Skywalker.
In the prequels.
In the original, in episodes 1 through 3, when he like kills all the baby Jedi.
Yeah.
Is he the one that's like a drunk driver now? Have I seen his mugshot?
That could be any number of people
yeah.
in Hollywood.
That really
Okay.
doesn't narrow it down, Tracy.
Sorry.
Are you
I'm just
thinking of
trying to
Liam?
understand.
Liam Neeson is Irish. It's entirely possible.
No, Tracy, he's like one of the forgettable. He becomes Darth Vader. That's the guy who becomes Darth Vader.
Okay, gotcha.
And I actually like the prequels. I just think of Hayden Christensen doing his weird, like, Brock's aunt's accent and literally everything.
Yes.
Reason is hilarious.
Yeah. So I was as someone mentioned briefly Abraham Lincoln, and I was thinking we should definitely watch Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Should we?
Oh, we should.
Well,
Sarah and I rejected that movie for the Bad Movie Podcast.
It's not as bad as you think. That's the thing. It's actually I would not suggest that to torture people. I actually like that movie.
Did anyone ever see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies? Like, is that even fun to watch?
It's fine. I mean, Tracy, did you see it with me? We watched it I watched it on cable, and I caught the last part of it.
The graphic novel was amusing. I mean,
the fight scenes were interesting. That was actually the cool part of it. Is you have these women in their fancy aristocrat gowns doing backflips and shit. So that was punching zombies.
Well, I know in the comics the whole thing was that they were trained by their father as the 5 fingers of death.
Yeah.
Which, I just feel like I've seen every other adaptation of Jane Austen, and that's the one that I haven't seen. So I don't know.
I'd watch that from the beginning. There'd be stuff to say about it at least, and then it would continue in our appreciation of the classics. That's very important. Chris, you're muted, dude.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I have to occasionally mute because I'm drinking carbonated beverages. Yeah, no, I wasn't even recommending it for this podcast. I just keep wondering if I should just watch it.
Just personally.
Yes.
Well, I'm trying to think again. I'm trying to think of horror or action horror. I don't know, Aaron. What would you call that? It's not even really horror.
Which one?
It's got
action.
Yeah, I mean, it's got zombies. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
That's an action horror. I mean, it's no more or less horror than the Resident Evil movies.
Right.
It's
which I also love.
Yeah.
I can actually handle the Resident Evil movies. We watched those a lot when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I could take
God,
them or leave them.
How many of those are there now?
6.
Jesus.
Oh, there's so fucking many.
Is there a new one coming out?
No, they have officially finished. They're doing a reboot that has nothing to do with Jovovich or her husband.
Yeah.
Her husband and their latest thing. It was much to do. And by this much I mean, yes, there are giant monsters, and yes, there is a singular giant sword.
Yeah, I saw that trailer, and they're in cars with guns, and I'm like, how is this Monster Hunter?
I suspect the only reason why they have that Jovovich is yet to be in either a Marvel superhero movie or a DC superhero movie is, I suspect that it's a 2-person deal. It's her and her husband, or no deal at all.
Yeah. May I just say that we've talked about so many wonderful androgynous, potentially gay, lesbian, or bisexual people today, and I've enjoyed it. So many, you guys. Oh my God, it's so funny. I don't remember why I Googled this, but I was watching Rocky Horror, and then I saw the thing about Tim Curry being in the having to using a wheelchair and being paralyzed on part of his face, stuff like that. And there were a bunch of comments under that were like, is Tim Curry gay? And then there'd be 50 comments that were fuck you for asking if Tim Curry's gay. It doesn't matter. People have very strong opinions about whether or not Tim Curry is gay. I just have to say that.
The comment section anywhere is just.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Man, talking about just random shit about just weird, attractive people. So Milo Ventimiglia, how the hell do you pronounce his last name?
Yeah, close enough.
Who I clearly had not paid attention to since
Heroes.
I was thinking, what's the one I actually watched? Gilmore Girls. I, like everybody else, I watched one season of Heroes and went, okay, that's good. I'm done with that. No, I watched Gilmore Girls religiously, and he was always just like incredibly weird-looking dude. And then I saw him in a like a Joe Biden like campaign ad the other day. When the fuck did he get hot? He was a weird-looking 20-year-old, and he's like a seriously hot like 40-something-year-old.
I have not seen him recently. Hold on, let me Google Milo Ventimiglia or whatever the fuck his name is.
Like especially with like the goatee and shit. Like
yeah, no, that's the answer. It's when he got a beard. That's the answer.
I guess so. He's got like real DILF energy going on.
Oh yeah, I'm into this mustache.
Right?
Yeah, it works for him.
This is a look. I get it.
What's he even doing these days? Is he on one of those incredibly popular shows I don't watch?
Yeah,
Probably.
He's on that like really depressing NBC show.
Oh, is he the dad that got killed by a toaster?
It was a crock pot, but yeah.
Wait, what?
I've heard about this like via Twitter.
It's an NBC drama called This Is Us. Yeah, like my stepdad is really into it. It's like some people in my family are really into it. It's like it's like a dual timeline. So it's got a timeline in the 80s when these people gave birth to triplets, but then like one of them died, and so they just adopted a random black child who was also born that day for
right,
you know,
like you do.
And then like also the present. So like apparently like the big mystery of like the first season or maybe the first two seasons was like that Milo Ventimiglia's character was clearly dead in the present, but you didn't know why. And then the reveal is that he got killed in a terrible crockpot accident.
Oh my god. It was a pressure cooker? Because that would have been more funny. Just
it was a crockpot.
What if that's how Heroes had ended?
Oh god. Dude, Heroes.
Joe, get out of the way so I can see his face. Oh, okay.
See?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can go back, Joe. I just wanted to
stay out of the picture. I'm gonna pretend that's my head.
That's what the kids call a glow up.
That is a glow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just random. I don't know why you made me think about it. I was like, I don't know, something.
You're just always thinking about DILFs.
Clearly, yes. DILFs of Disneyland, the greatest.
Oh my god. So I guess for next time we'll figure out offline again like a couple movies we want to watch. I'm not opposed to. Chris, was it you who mentioned Cabin in the Woods last time?
You did.
Oh, I did. I don't know why I thought you said you like Cabin in the Woods. Maybe I was projecting.
Okay. You mentioned it, and I said, yeah, I've seen that. I enjoy it.
Yeah, so we can figure out some other movies, and we'll probably lean heavily on Aaron and Wendy and Tracy, actually, because Tracy is also.
Why has no one even suggested Ernest Scared Stupid yet? The greatest film.
No.
I love that movie. I don't know what your problem is. Miak.
Oh my god.
Look, I grew up on the Ernest movies. They'll always have a place in my rotten soul.
That's a good Christmas movie. Ernest Saves Christmas.
Look, the moment in my childhood when I found out that one of my favorite movie characters was based on air conditioner commercials. I will maintain, though, that Ernest Goes to Camp is still one of the great camp movies of all time. Right up, and the only problem with camp movies is that Wet Hot American Summer killed the camp movie.
I know.
Like, they made the perfect camp movie. There's no reason to ever make another one.
Yeah.
Or did all camp movies just become horror movies after that? They were always. All the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, those are always two different varieties of camp movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone called Heavyweights a horror film.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
there's either there's camp movies where you get murdered, or camp movies where you try to lose your virginity. Those are the two genres of camp movies.
Right.
Or there's the.
Or you try to lose your virginity and then you get murdered.
Yes.
I think everyone is trying to lose their virginity, regardless of the genre.
Or you're trying to hide the alien from the camp counselors.
Mm.
What?
Oh,
I don't know that one.
Meatballs 2.
Okay.
Meatballs 2 is one of the weirdest sequels. I mean, mostly what I remember about that movie, one of the kids is an alien whose parents just dropped him off for summer camp.
Yep.
Was the second one the one with the kid in the wheelchair that has a Kawasaki motorcycle engine on it?
I don't remember.
It's literally it's just all bits. It's just a bunch.
Yeah.
Like, honest to God, I think that movie was in no small way one of the inspirations for Wet Hot American Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, it's
Well, so I feel like we have given Rocky Horror a fair shake and The Hunger. Yeah, we definitely had our. So what my final question is about Underworld. Has everyone seen Underworld and seen all of the Underworlds?
I have seen all of the Underworlds.
I don't think I've seen it in a single Underworld movie.
Really? Okay.
The first 3 are on Netflix. The first 3 are on Netflix.
Oh,
yeah.
sick.
The last one is weird because oh my God, Kate, why can I not remember her last name? Beckinsale. They do some weird thing where they take a very attractive...
the third one, they did that age degression face.
And it's you guys, it's okay. Everyone wants to fuck Kate Beckinsale anyway. You don't have to de-age her. It's fine. But it ends up
we as the audience can deal with the cognitive dissonance of knowing that these aren't real vampires.
Yes.
They are going to age. We can deal with that.
Yeah.
Well, and they end up making it look like a character from 2009 video game again, where it's very the skin. It looks like it's Play-Doh or something. It's very weird and distracting.
And apparently she went. Apparently her character turned into a Super Saiyan, with frosted, with frosted tips.
Nice.
Because that's what happens when vampires get resurrected somehow.
A hot look.
Yes. Yeah. So I wouldn't be opposed to watching one of the Underworlds. I don't know which one.
Yeah, I mean, it's harmless.
Yeah, I mean,
probably the best thing I can say about Underworld.
Yes.
What about Drag Me to Hell?
Drag Me to Hell? Have I seen that, Tracy?
Wait, Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body?
Oh, I could fuck with Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
I remember, wasn't that one of the super titillating teenage things that people went to see just because of
it's a legitimately amazing movie that got torpedoed by the fact that its star was too hot.
Yep.
Oh. Well, okay, but I will say, you guys, we should consider Tracy's suggestion because she does know a lot about horror, and this is Drag Me to Hell is directed by Sam Raimi.
Which one is Drag Me to Hell?
It's a really good one, I think. It's like a updated, I mean, to me it's like an updated Evil Dead sort of thing situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have seen this actually.
It's really good in my opinion.
Yeah,
and I really like the main actress in it. Joe, what's her name? Do you see it?
Oh, Allison
the
Lohman.
Blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like her.
Yeah. I mean, is this one, is it super gory, Tracy? I can't remember.
No, it's got some gore, but it's mostly campy.
Okay.
because it's Sam Raimi. He like goes back to some of his roots in it, which is pretty fun. Like, honestly.
Oh, don't use Sam Raimi and Roots in the same sentence.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, we could do.
I think even he regrets that scene.
Right, we could do kind of a theme of what you call it? Oh God, what was that movie? I'm blanking out on it.
What kind of movie is it?
Now I remember it was Thin. I was trying to remember Thinner. That's the.
Oh.
Never mind. Skip it.
Wasn't Thinner one of the?
I was thinking, I was trying to. I was trying to think of a horror movie that had sort of a, oh fuck, we're still fucked, endings.
Well, that's a body horror movie, though, isn't that That's Stephen King, right?
I really can't do body horror.
All right, okay, that one's out.
Body horror is a hard no for me.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one of the Crypt Keeper movies?
Maybe.
Maybe.
No, I don't think so. But it is Stephen King for sure.
No,
Directed by Tom Holland and Michael McDowell.
Oh boy,
that's fucking weird. I can't even imagine what that. I don't think I've seen Thinner. I might have to watch that anyway.
It's good.
It is good. But yeah, there is a bit of yikes on the face.
Yeah.
Look, the worst body horror movie ever made was the remake of Hairspray. So.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that movie so much. I hate it so much. I love Hairspray with all of my heart, and I love musicals. And you would think, oh, this is nope. Hey, remember the end of that movie when Queen Latifah fixes racism in Baltimore in the 50s? Yeah, great fucking movie.
Oh my God.
Do we want to kick this over to the group chat again?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have to say, I think I second Tracy's suggestion as one of the movies. So maybe just like look at the Wikipedia for that and see. Like, I don't want to force anyone to watch something they're going to hate, but I think it is a good movie.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we can figure out the other one. That sounds good, Aaron.
Yeah, let's just pair it with something joyful. Like a palate cleanser I can follow it with. Be like, because I gotta be honest, like I hated Hunger so much. I literally was just like, movies are dumb. Like, why Americans shouldn't make movies. And then I went over to Rocky Horror Picture Show and I'm like, oh wait, right, no, this is my religion. I love it.
Tracy, what was that movie we watched that it was a sequel to The Babysitter, but it wasn't called Babysitter? It was one we just watched.
It was called like Killer Queen something, Slumber Party. I don't know.
It wasn't. Yeah, dude. Every time I have a meeting, people are always like, "How many cats do you have?" Because there's always a goddamn cat. You're right, though, Tracy. It is Killer Queen, something like that.
Somehow my cat got in here and is trying to literally climb the wall. There's the wall.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was in a meeting and someone had like a cat off screen, and as they were talking, the cat paw just went like this. And then I was like, I think your cat has a question. And then she like moves the camera down, and the cat's like licking its butthole, like going to town.
Look, if we're doing all this Halloween stuff and talking about cats, Aaron, I still think we should make them all watch Cat's Paw.
Oh God, we could make it an awful double feature: Cat's Paw and Sleepwalkers.
Oh boy.
Oh, God.
Sleepwalkers.
Have I described Cat's Paw to you guys yet? Which is the reason why Star Trek does not do holiday specials ever again.
You've said that, but I don't think you've described the actual movie.
It's a Halloween-themed TOS episode in the infamously terrible third season of the original series.
Uh-huh.
Where they like cut their budget and everything was falling apart, and it's so bad.
Let me make sure I'm thinking of the right one. This is the anthology one that had like the James Woods trying to quit smoking story. No, I'm thinking of Cat's Eye, not Cat's Paw.
Cat's
Eye.
Paw was the one where they go to like the haunted castle, and there's like there's a giant cat that's hunting them, and it's literally just a forced perspective, like regular ass cat.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I was confused for a minute because I mean, Cat's Eye is, with the exception of the fact that it has James Woods in it, is a not too terrible anthology movie. You've got it's 3 horror stories in one. You've got a story where James Woods is trying to quit smoking, and he goes to this company that like threatens to harm his wife if he doesn't stop smoking, and
Jesus Christ, that's a little intense.
Yeah.
So this is basically the everyone be quiet or I shoot the bunny approach to.
Well, but there's 3 stories. There's that one. There's the framework story, which is a little girl who I think it might have been Drew Barrymore, but I'm not sure.
I see the cat. Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's back. Oh, it's gone.
Is that? Anyway, it's worth checking out and skipping the James Woods story. Because fuck that guy.
Well, I mean, there are monster movies, and Tracy, what is the premise to Drag Me to Hell? Just very briefly, can you?
It's the main character, a young blonde girl, is trying to get promoted at the bank she works at. And in order to get promoted, she has to deny a loan to an old woman. And that old woman is a gypsy, and she curses her. So the whole movie is her trying to remove the curse.
Okay.
And when I say gypsy, I'm saying like she's like a Romani. That's like the whole thing there. So
and you've named the trope too. That's like how people. I feel like that's how people know the trope. Yeah, I just brought up this. Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I brought up this background, and it's from The Shape of Water, and then I remembered The Shape of Water, and I was thinking, we could, like monster movie.
Oh, Shape of Water, yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
That's joy right there. That's a great.
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Monster movies. Sexy monster movies. Here we go.
Oh, is Monster Fuckers the theme?
All right.
Oh, fuck. Double feature of The Shape of Water and Venom.
I love Venom.
Venom is great.
Venom was
I have still not seen. I haven't seen Venom, so I will be down.
Really?
I will be down for watching Venom at some point.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's kick it to chat.
Monster Fuckers.
Monster Fuckers.
Monster Fuckers.
What's all right? Hey, quick poll. What's the sexiest King Kong? Go.
That's it for Season 4, Episode 10 of Gateway Geeks Podcast. We're in the Panopticon now, baby. Join us next time for Monster Fuckers, or maybe something else. This episode was hosted by Sarah Jane Connor, Tracy Gomillion, Chris Knetzer, me, Joe Kohlburn, and Aaron Robb. It was edited by Joe Kohlburn and produced by Chris and I. See you next time.